Lights on. We're rolling?
Yes.
Okay, great. Welcome, everybody. It is May 15th, 2025 for Alpine Travel and Tourism Board meeting. Roll call, please.
Jeremy Larson,
Here.
Dave Walters,
Here?
Shannon Bowers. Here. All are present.
Thank you. Announcements. Do I have any announcements?
Not that I know of.
Not that I'm aware of either. If something comes to me during the
If I need to say something,
deal,
tell me.
then I'll say something. Financial disclosure. Do we have a current
We do.
financial?
So the starting balance is $261,652.59.
Okay. And that is as of April?
Yeah. The year-to-date income is $180,878.69. And the year-to-date expenditures has been $111,550.24.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that one more time?
111,550.24.
111,
550.24.
and that was for income or expended?
What
was income?
Income was 180,878.69.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we'll be doing reports from over the winter, starting off with Winter Jubilee.
Andrea Bircher, Winter Jubilee Committee. We were given an $8,000 grant for Winter Jubilee last year, and those funds were instrumental in enhancing the event's offerings. A portion of the grant allowed us to hire professional artists who, partnering with local businesses, created exquisite snow sculptures that were a highlight of the festivities.
Thinking somebody did ChatGPT. There's a lot of descriptive words there.
There are a lot of
Very
descriptive
fancy.
words. This is a very well-written report.
Yeah,
The remaining funds supported the popular fire dance performance, which drew a large and enthusiastic crowd.
it sure did.
Yes, it did. The fire dance was very successful in terms of engagement. We observed numerous TikTok and Facebook posts featuring the performance, suggesting strong social media traction and community interest. Over the past few years, we've noticed a decline in community participation in the light parade. As such, we believe this will be the final year we host it. Retiring the parade will also allow us to schedule the fire dance performance earlier in the evening, help us address the logistical challenges such as the dropping temperatures later in the evening. And that was an issue. We had too much time between
Right.
the light parade and the fire
We
dance.
all know who is the best parade.
Yeah, we all do know, every year, all the time. Town of Alpine.
Oh,
Just kidding, it's ATAP. Well, depends on the year.
it does.
So basically, all events were very successful. The fire dancers, the snow sculptures, casino night. We raised a very nice amount of money for graduating seniors, which will be distributed next week at Scholarship Night. We had 1 from Jackson and 3 from here that we awarded scholarships to. So very good. Attendance tracking. The hot dog roast had 75 people, light parade had around 30, fire dance had around 100. Movie night is always low, they only had 12, so we might have to reconsider that next year. I think part of the problem this year is it started so late because the fire dancers went much longer than anticipated. And casino night had 80 to 100 people in attendance. Would you like a breakdown of how our funds were spent?
No, just as long as it's written in.
Yeah, it's all in here.
Yep. I mean, unless, I don't want to speak for,
Yeah, no,
No,
I can read.
Yeah, it calculates out to 8,000, so we did our job. And everything went very well.
Nice, thank you.
Much
had a
more
real good
detail
time.
can be found in this very nicely written report.
Very
thank you.
good job.
Thank
Do you have any questions?
I do
So,
not.
no, thank you.
And we are looking forward to hopefully obtaining another grant and being able to do it all again next year.
Yeah, thanks for all your time and effort you put into that.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, Melody puts in lots of time and effort. We are a good team.
Yes. It was definitely a good event.
And that concludes my portion.
Thank you for your portion. All right, up next, Trout Unlimited. Ron.
I wasn't sure what format, so I just kind of developed this after-action report for you guys.
Thank you.
Based
Thank
on
you.
your questions in the document.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So what I've done here is address those specific questions that you've asked, and then I've attached a spreadsheet at the end.
Perfect.
And let me start over. I'm Tom Mickey, and I represent our Star Valley chapter of Trout Unlimited and sit on the board. So just to give you kind of a quick overview, and I think probably most of you are familiar with the event, as familiar as I am with it, but because we had a lot of you in attendance. But excellent event again this year. Our attendance numbers were down slightly, but due to some fine tuning that I speak to in this document a little later, our revenues and income were pretty much comparable with last year. So great event. By our count, we were around 130 plus in attendees, paid attendees. We sold, I think, 7 sponsor tables this year, and then had a few others. Casting for a Cure set up a table out front, and a couple of others like that. So, any part of this you want me to focus on in particular, I'm happy to do. I gave you just kind of a broad answer to each of these questions. One of the, I think, the highlights and big differences this year from last year is we managed to put some focus on signing up new members for our chapter, and we actually signed up 40 new members for the chapter this year, which was fantastic. So what that, in my mind, translates for us is more participation next year at this event, but also more participation in the stream restoration projects that we're doing. We're, doing willow plantings, those sorts of things. Our funding is kind of in flux right now due to Mr. Trump and a lot of the things that are going on with the Doge and cuts and funding this and that. So we had $14 million lined up to be devoted to the salt. It's on hold. We hope to be able to retain some or all of that. We'll see. But having said that, that makes the contributions that we're making from events like this all the more important, that we're able to at least provide some funding to these projects. So had I checked my email, I would have been able to do a better job of answering one of your questions, which had to do with, let me get to it, connections that we had made in the community. Mm-hmm. And one of the businesses that that reached out to us was the Cobblestone, and they offered a discount. I have not had an opportunity to speak with them to see how many took advantage of that, but they did offer that for us. And then Casting for a Cure had set up a table, and I think there was a great deal of interest in that as well. So all in all, I think we had great participation from the community, great participation from the business community. I think there was a great deal of exposure for not only what our chapter is doing, but Trout Unlimited overall, and also exposure for the local businesses that participated. We had a number of them that participated not only in sponsoring tables, but also in providing raffle items. And we had some really good raffle items this year. That was one of our focuses that you'll read in this document. Some of the things that we fine-tuned. Last year we got a lot of feedback that the event was too long. We went till like 10:30 at night. So this year we started earlier, and we also kind of compressed everything. So where we had over 30 raffle items last year, I think this year we were down around 20. Fewer items, but much higher quality. Our top prize was a rod and reel worth almost $2,000.
I missed it.
Yeah. And then we had another rod and reel worth, I think the Orvis rod was $1,100 with a $500 reel, and it was about $1,600 there. But a number of nice, very high quality prizes that I think all of the attendees really appreciated. And I think that drove our revenues and kept us, even though we were down slightly in terms of headcount, we still generated the same amount of revenue. Food was good this year. So all in all, great event. Thank you very much for your support.
Thank you for putting this on.
Absolutely. In the spreadsheet, I've detailed the items that, according to my reading of your bylaws and so forth, are reimbursable. But obviously, that's subject to your approval.
Have you submitted receipts for it?
I have not, and that was one of my questions for you. Do we need to submit receipts for each item?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, and that'll be with the secretary, just bring them in.
Okay.
And then it's all reimbursable, yeah.
I will do that Monday.
Okay.
Our treasurer is out of town until Sunday, but I'll get all of that from him on Monday and bring those
Perfect.
along. But very good.
Awesome. No, I heard nothing
questions?
but great feedback this year. Like I say, I was really disappointed that I was out of town.
We missed you.
Told my wife, go down, at least get some raffle items. And, but I look forward to it next year.
Yeah, it's
Can you go into a little bit just as far as this being kind of an incubator for the stream restoration? Because that's for the folks at home.
sure. Yeah, so all of the funds that we raise at this event are given to Trout Unlimited to use in these projects. So Tanner Belknap, who presented in the beginning of our event this last time, and also had a set up a table and some information and so forth about some of the projects that they've completed and some that are in the pipeline. Tanner is heavily involved. He's a full-time TU employee. His title is the Salt River Watershed Manager, I think. So that's all he does is these stream restoration projects. So everything that we make, we give back to TU, and they use it to fund these projects. So we've done a number of willow plantings where we'll go out and literally plant 1,000 willows, which for most of us fly fishermen is just, I mean, we hate willows because it's just the bane of our existence. We lose $100 worth of flies every day out there in those willows, but they preserve the stream side and the banks and so forth, and provide for a much cleaner water environment, and, a healthier environment for the fish. So that's what we're doing. We've, if you saw Tanner's sign, we've already done a number of projects on the salt, and there's two big ones that were part of this 14 million that are lined up. We're hoping to be able to, keep securing some of that. One of the things that is interesting about the way these big grants work is that they will not fund the engineering necessary to design the project. So that's generally where we've been the most help. We've helped in funding the actual design for these projects, which is kind of complicated. You'd be surprised at what some of these things look like, where we have big bends in the river that are, keep washing farther and farther. They're able to stop those with this relatively simple design, but it's something that's been crafted over time, and the willows are a big part of it as well. So anyway, that's what we do, and that's primarily the driver for this event each year and what we do with the funds.
And then if somebody wants to become a TU member for the local chapter, how do they
Yep.
go about doing that?
They can reach out to me, and I apologize, I did not introduce Ron Quinn, who is our president of our chapter, who's here with us
Ron
today.
last time.
So, yeah, do that, and,
TU website,
Yeah.
TU.com, TU.org, sorry.
Yeah, I met your, I don't know if it's state president or regional president last week. I forget her name.
Leslie,
Federoff.
out of Jackson, yeah.
Yeah.
And I actually speak to that in here. She was so impressed with the event that she contacted us and said, look, we need to coordinate and do some of these things together.
Right.
So,
You should announce that website on the mic
Yeah, it's tu.org.
Is it, that-
Oh, we might put a plug in for our commissioner tag raffle that's live right now, too.
Oh, yeah.
oh, yeah.
So we have another fundraiser going right now for a commissioner tag, which is, if you're not familiar with that term, it allows you to hunt antelope, elk, mule deer. You select one of those three anywhere in the state, which is highly sought after. Currently, we are, I think it's $25 a ticket. We're a little over 8,000 in sales so far, and we hope to do a whole lot better than that.
When does that, when's the deadline? May 31st?
May 31st deadline. Yeah.
Thank you.
So,
Yeah, no, I don't have any questions. That's great.
Yeah, thank you.
thank you very
For
much.
the report. I look forward to the movie next year.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we will in advance, so I passed that on to the Thank you.
Thank you, and we do appreciate your support.
Thank you.
Jen, are you wanting to stick through the whole shebang? You guys can
What?
You guys can Rochambeau if you'd like.
Leg wrestle.
Okay. Then, because I assume Jan is here representing Alpine Trails and Pathways?
Righto, yeah. Hold on, I got an important thing to share.
She's gonna be late.
Oh, she told you?
Yeah, she texted us.
Okay, you're just gonna keep moving right now? Oh, oh, she has a report. Got a big fish?
Well, I was looking for,
I'll jump in. Hello, Travel and Tourism Board. Thank you on behalf of Alpine Trails and Pathways. You have our report for the 24-25 grant season. I'll just kind of go off the first couple. The grant Alpine Trails and Pathways received from Alpine Travel and Tourism allowed us to hire Bouchon Cross Country Grooming for grooming our lake bed trails twice a week, Wednesday and Saturday from mid-December through the first week of April. All totaled, Bouchon completed 29 grooms over 15 weeks, totaling $9,764.70. Alpine Travel and Tourism paid 80% of that, totaling $7,811.76. This gave Alpine residents and visitors 110 days of winter trail use. What it also gave, but was not included, is the hours it freed up ATAP staff to groom elsewhere. ATAP would like to thank Alpine Travel and Tourism Board and all the residents and visitors who found joy in the trails we created. Thank you. ATAP estimates our lake bed trails saw roughly a couple dozen users per day, giving a rough total of 2,640 skier days. That is just under $3 per user over the 24-25 season. In ATAP's opinion, an excellent bargain. And then I'm just going to kind of cruise down to our budget. You can see here I broke down by monthly. So December, 2 grooms totaling $930. January, 9 grooms totaling $3,006.30. February, 8 grooms, $2,541. March grooming, 8 grooms, $2,534.40. April grooms, 2 grooms, $752. Totaling 29 grooms, $9,764.70. And again, Alpine Travel and Tourism covered $7,811.76 of that, whereas Alpine Trails and Pathways covered the remaining 20% at $1,952.94. ATAP, as you recall, was approved for up to $9,600. So we did not use $1,788.24, which I know will go to the next this year. In conclusion, Alpine Trails and Pathways would like to thank Alpine Travel and Tourism for their continued support of our grooming program. Our mission is to connect neighbors, businesses, communities, and our public lands through non-motorized trails and pathways for transportation, recreation, economic sustainability, and a healthy mountain lifestyle. Because of your support and continued support, we will continue to meet our mission. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Little formal there.
No, it's great.
Jan, would you have any feedback for the grooming program?
Oh,
That's okay.
about the Coney, I guess.
Coney, we use that as a fundraising campaign. We partner with Lucky's. And, oh, I meant to tell the TU guys, seems pretty par for the course that this year, everybody that held a fundraising event, numbers were down, but donations were about equal as last year. We found ours to be the same with Lucky's. So we raised roughly around, I believe it was 9,000 and change. And we split that 50-50 with Lucky's. And that goes to all our expenses. So from signage to gasoline to permitting, insurance, all that kind of stuff. Yep.
Awesome.
Any questions for us?
I don't have any, do you?
No, I don't have any at all. I think
All
it's
right.
great.
Well, thank you for putting this on.
Anything more?
Sometimes less is more.
Drop the mic.
That is
Thank you.
it. Thank you. Mr. Mayor.
Anyone else need to go?
I mean, we don't, if you're,
Which one do you want to talk about?
whatever, it's just you and us now, so. So we can keep this loose.
You could, well, I came to talk about the kiosk. Is there anything else that you need to report on that I could help? I don't really have a final report for Music in the Mountains, I guess, but.
No, we do,
We can
yeah,
talk about the
Kiosk.
kiosk, if you don't mind.
Not
And
at
then, I can talk about the trail groomer as well, if that works.
perfect.
Okay, do you want to do that presentation? Hi there,
Hello.
everybody.
Oh,
Hello.
Sarah and I came a little more prepared to talk about the kiosk this week, and hopefully we can answer more of your questions. She'll get that presentation up and going here.
You've only got 2 minutes, so.
Okay, sorry. I'll go really fast. I don't want to hold up the crowd. I'm sure they're still filing in.
You got a big line outside.
Yeah,
your crowd, and I say that with a singular.
yes.
What are we doing now, the kiosk?
Yeah.
first?
Is it like a tour of what it's?
Yes, it's a complete tour of town.
Awesome.
You found out some more information about it, though?
Yes, Sarah did.
Nice.
And now she's going to get it up on the screen for us. 3, 2, 1. Look at us. We should just.
Do what you gotta do.
Yeah, we'll print out 3 copies real quick so you guys can each look at it.
Okay. Well, you want us to give you a few minutes to set up? We
Yeah,
can do
please.
some other
Is
business.
it, yeah,
Okay.
go on to something else.
Why don't we go down to Friends of the Bridger Teton? With Friends of the Bridger Teton, what we discovered from last meeting is they'll need to be funded, it's for this summer, however, their funding splits our fiscal year. So what we found is they're going to need funding by June, and then the rest of the funding after July. So we put forward two motions that we'll take to Alpine Town Council. And if I can get a motion for the first motion.
The motion to amend the 24-25 budget, send to the town council to approve $4,186.54 for what fiscal year?
Five?
EMS?
Yeah.
I have a first and a second. So again, what FBT has done is they've broken down their total request of $11,074.54, of which they will need that $4,186.54 before the end of this fiscal year to cover this summer's ambassador program for the Alpine area. And then we'll be going into a second motion to make up that if this motion passes. Any questions there?
No, I don't have any questions.
And again, we will pass this on to the Alpine Town Council, and it'll also need to be approved for the Alpine Town Council to amend the 24-25 budget, which I believe is on the agenda for next Tuesday, I think. I haven't looked at it yet, but we spoke about that. Any other questions?
No.
Hearing none, all in favor of said motion to amend our fiscal budget for 24-25 and pass it on to town council for the amount of $4,186.54 for the Friends of the Bridger Teton Ambassador Program, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, and then to follow that up, can I get a motion for third reading for Friends of the Bridger Teton?
Motion to approve on third reading Friends of Bridger Teton for $6,888, which would make this a total of $11,074.54.
In a second?
Second.
I have a first and a second. Again, to repeat myself, so this is the actual third reading for our fiscal year 25-26. This $6,888 will, if approved, will go forward to cover their expenses beyond July 1. And in that, like I say, in that 25-26 fiscal year for the ambassador program. And then they have also recalculated that. So it's going to cover them for next year into that June payment. So it'll cover this summer as well as the beginnings of next summer if they have if the program's successful. Any thoughts, questions?
Nope.
No,
All right, great program. I wish them all the best. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes on third reading, so that'd be third and final reading. So that passes and goes on to town council. All right, let's see, SVI on third reading. Can I get a motion for that?
Motion for marketing proposal from SVI Media. Let's see what the amount is here.
So just had it up.
$27,600.
27,600 for amount
Thank you.
of 27,600. Or if
It was
we,
a race. Everyone, I was like, I'm just gonna let y'all do it.
or if we pay in advance, 24,840.
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
Oh, 10% discount if paid in advance, so.
Yep. And a second?
Second.
Okay. So as you recall, this is for similar work that we did with them last year with their geofencing, advertising, everything that is essentially the meat and potatoes to the lodging tax and what the state ideally likes to see it do. They've kind of ticked that box right off. Any questions, thoughts, concerns?
No, I just remember last year when we worked with Duke, he was a little negotiable on this, so I didn't know if there was a little bit of room to play with or not, but
I think it was just wasn't there that discount?
No, it was the website. He gave us a,
Oh, the discount. on
which
the
is already
website.
made,
That's
and
right.
then we're not doing that this
And we're
time,
not
right?
doing that, no, we're not
Yeah.
doing that this year.
No, I'm good.
Okay. I'm good. Anything else? Yeah, Duke is always very communicative with secretary, myself. I've been very satisfied with the product. All in favor of SVI Media for third and final reading for up to $27,600, say aye.
Aye.
Me too. Aye.
Aye. All right. And then, has everybody had a chance to look over meeting minutes that are in front of you from last meeting?
Yes.
Yeah.
Any questions, thoughts there? Corrections?
No.
Get a motion then to approve meeting minutes for April 2025?
Okay, a motion to approve meeting minutes from April 15th, I'm sorry, April 24th of 2025.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And then, are we ready?
Sure.
All right, now back to kiosk. What am I looking at? There we go.
Okay.
We're gonna still see if we can get it up on the screen.
Cool.
Thank you.
it's fine, I don't need one.
Okay, we printed this out so you could see it, but we wanted to come to the board and give you a little bit more detail on this. But the purpose of this is, we're kind of pursuing solutions to grow the tourism sector in Alpine. And as you know, we no longer have someone manning the information center. And there's a long history on the information center, but as you know, we don't have anyone in that role anymore. The kiosk will serve 24/7 for local maps, trail guides, dining, shopping, lodging directories, business directory, things like that. Also, have event listings, emergency alerts. Our goal is to improve visitor experience while reducing pressure on staff and paper-based materials. So, and if anyone, you could go to the next page. So this is just kind of some benefits, quick benefits. Positions Alpine as a modern visitor-friendly destination, gives you real-time updates on events, dining, trails, and alerts, an eco-conscious alternative to brochures and flyers, promotes shops, lodging, and restaurants. Visitors, it'll be able to help visitors when the offices are closed and encourages longer stays and return visits. Next, the Travel and Tourism Committee mission is to enhance visitor services, promote access to local resources, and support Alpine's economy through innovative tourism infrastructure. And of course, the kiosk does exactly that. By improving the visitor experience through real-time self-service info, boost local economy by promoting shops, dining, lodging, maps to trails, things of that nature. It can actually give emergency updates, things like that, and build a lasting infrastructure that modernizes Alpine's tourism presence. So our suggestion is it's called the Pulse from Meridian, and it's weatherproof, tamper-resistant, durable for year-round in our weather conditions. Again, open to 24/7, always connected through Wi-Fi and cellular capabilities, so we don't necessarily have to worry about that. Low maintenance. And kind of some of those other things we've already gone over. It does give an optional ADA panel to make the kiosk user-friendly for all visitors. So leasing options are on the next page. So 36 months for just under 900, 48 months for 700 a month, and 60 months is $581. There's an annual software fee. Sarah, is that included in this lease payment? Okay, so that needs to be on top of our yearly lease payments. We need to
You'll grab our cat.
do the. What's it come out to for, are you guys? Total payments, is that what you're trying to figure out? Yeah. Sarah, does our application include the software fee as well? I guess the advantage of doing it on a 3-year term is that we just get it paid off sooner rather than later, but, you know,
Is it ours after that?
yeah, $1 buyout after that.
Okay.
So then, going forward, we just have the
Car that
yearly.
Take off the lot, though, is gonna be worth anything?
Well, I mean, after, you know, this is what's
It's
the,
just gonna depreciate and be our thing and something that we'll have to buy again potentially, like down the road.
well, the thing is, if it's successful, we may consider having multiple kiosks around the town of Alpine. I don't
Okay.
know.
Yeah.
But, you know, obviously, you could have one at the Civic Center, you could have one out front here. If, you know, there's all sorts of things, like you can get your dog
The plan is
license.
To put it at the Civic Center though, right?
I'm sorry?
The plan is to put it at the. Civic
Exactly.
Center? Okay.
Yep.
And is it out like towards the road or?
We would put it underneath the awning, closer to the doors, like where you used to access the information center or where the food bank is now.
So it'd be like turn towards the road and.
It'd be, yep, turn towards the road, exactly.
Going on?
Yep.
And would there be like a sign on the street that says like Visitor Center Interactive Kiosk or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, we should
24-hour kiosk.
we
or
should
something?
absolutely do that. I mean, that's a great thing to add to the,
You know, something that says like 24 hours a day, there's a kiosk.
Yeah.
You know, or whatever.
Sarah, does our application have any other like signage or anything in there? Okay,
You
So-
can get a whiteout permit too.
yeah, we'd have to
Okay,
get,
what about like the food bank? Is the food bank gonna still?
so the food bank is, when you're looking at the building on that, it's the office to the right, and the office to the left is now the Director of Public Works office.
Okay.
So this is out in front of that office. You don't have to go in the building to access this.
Okay.
But we would have to get a YDOT permit to put like a permanent sign in the easement, but that's not a big deal. You know, we've actually moved our information sign up and down the highway because it moved to here for a year and moved back, so it's really not. But getting a bigger sign that says specifically what it is, I think that should be something that we should strive for.
And is this something that you're asking for a certain amount for like the first year, or what are you exactly asking for?
So what we're asking for is we'd need to pick out which leasing option we want to go for, and then we're kind of signing up for 5 years of leasing, if that's what,
5 years?
yeah.
Or 3, or depending on the one?
Whatever we choose,
Yeah.
whatever you think is reasonable. My opinion, the sooner the better we get it paid off, and we anticipate a lot more money coming into this fund, seeing as though we've got 2 new hotels going to be in the town of Alpine.
So is the town asking for us to approve one of these lease options that would be paid out over 3 years?
Yes, because we can't,
Say we would be approving something for when we don't even know that we would, like that would be grandfathered into even if we weren't.
So it'd come out of
I think-
26 and 27 towards the
Yeah.
dollars at the future years.
I think we'd also have to come and ask every single year, pretty much to re-up.
And what if they voted no?
If you vote no, then is there a return option?
That costs more than the lease, yes.
Probably something like that.
And who installs it?
They do,
And that's included?
yep. So they come and install it. They help us with all the content.
Is this thing insured if somebody like hits it with
Like
a
it's a
baseball
pickup
bat or
truck.
something? Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, it is? Nice.
What are their selling points for being better than your phone? Like, what is their reasons for going with them instead of somebody just Googling what's in Alpine on their phone as they pull in?
Right. Well, not everyone does that, right? So I don't know exactly what the percentages are, but if you have people walking around the area, then they have the information right there. For example, like during,
So it's kind of like the PRs in Jackson kind of thing, like they get so much traffic that that's where they plug that kind of stuff in. Is that kind of that idea?
right. And then the concept is, it also is on like universities and hospital campuses and stuff like that. So it's interactive. You can like select, I'm trying to get here, like, you know, you could even get a QR code that you put in your phone, you take a picture, and it gives you the direction to that location. So that's the like interactive part that,
Just hyper focused on Alpine, not going to send you down a rabbit hole.
exactly. And it's going to give you information that you may not be able to find directly from your phone. Let's just say the best fishing hole or the fishing license.
It better not be. Are you kidding?
We're going to send them,
getting the Huckleberry?
we're sending them to Shay's fishing hole for sure. Yeah.
And who does the upkeep on the stuff that gets inputted into it, like the hotels, the restaurants, and all that? Do we do that here at the town?
Yeah, so our staff will be the ones that are updating, you know, the information, the data all the time.
So everybody, all businesses would need to get a hold of you. How would you put that out to them that, hey, we have this feature?
As soon as they get their
Is it
business
free, like-
license every single year, then we will automatically put them.
Okay,
In
will
here.
it be free to them?
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
I don't know if this is a crazy idea, but I almost feel like a kiosk like this is gonna be used a lot more as a place like Brolin's. And I know that's like private property, it's not part of the town, but,
It may, I mean,
you
we
know,
see everybody
I mean,
there, just saying.
so many people walk in and out, and like, so many, I don't know, I just feel like it's gonna be used 10 times more at a place like that, but maybe I shouldn't.
I mean, that's a great idea, Dave, you know,
It's there.
yeah, so I do know that people come into town with their trailer and they want to stop someplace, whatever. They come here and fill our parking lot, you know, and they're like, hey, can you direct us to this or whatever? Or they're, you know, since it's been back over there, people stop there and they just feel like,
I bet they do it even more at that Bruins.
well, for sure, but I mean, we need to ask Brolams
Yeah,
if we can even do it, so.
I know over there.
The other thing is like, maybe it's worthwhile to try it here for a year and then test it out and see, you know, if it's gonna move over there.
Option to move it?
Because at this point, I mean, we're looking for you guys to approve it on third reading tonight. And if the condition is getting it at Brolam's, then there's no way that we're going to be able to guarantee that tonight.
Right.
So maybe it's up to the town to figure out where it could go, the best location. But I hear you, that would probably be a great option. But yeah, we're going to have to get approval from Brolam's, so.
So is the minimum lease term 36 months? Okay. And then, and I'm sorry, I missed where it says the cost is $25,930? What is that? Up there, Pulse Alto or kiosk cost?
That's the cost, right?
Like if you to buy it outright without leasing.
But
it,
we
that's
can't,
the cost.
we can't buy it outright. That's why we have to have a leasing option.
So the lease costs money to at least,
Yep.
Yeah.
to finance money.
Yeah.
If they'd changed the state statute and let us just buy it out, then we probably
They're
could have
really
done.
making,
Mhm.
and so just as the breakdown here, so for 36 months, essentially, total cost would be $32,290.20, plus the annual software fee for 3 years is $9,180. So for the 36-month term, Total cost is $41,470.20, and then goes up from there to, the 5-year term's $50,182.20. And essentially, the annual cost, if we want to break it all the way back down for information purposes, 3 years, 36 terms is $13,823.40, up to, actually the 40, or actually goes down, 36-month, the year would be the most expensive, and if we did a 60-month lease, it'd be $10,036.44 a year. Man, I'd just rather buy it.
Yeah, just to buy it would be much better.
You still gotta pay the $3,060.
And that's essentially, to get the latest and greatest software, and it also includes the insurance and all those different things, the yearly
The program.
upkeep. Yeah, it's just this pales in comparison to the cost of an employee over there that isn't there, obviously not 24/7. We couldn't afford to have our employee over there for 30 hours a week. So, this is something that's going to be able to give visitors information 24/7, 365, and in 3 years, we will own it. So our responsibility will go down to the $3,060 a year within 3 years, if that's what we choose. And, I think it can be a huge benefit. We can put videos up on it, everyone that walks by, you're exactly right, that would be a great location to put it. And, everyone that walks by there, hopefully, if it has a big sign that says information and they allow us to put it there, I would think it's going to get a lot more activity, so.
So it's $10,763 a year.
Jeremy, do you
At the
want,
60
At
month.
the, at the 36 months,
Jeremy, do you want the packet?
I've got it right here.
not including the annual software fee.
Oh, yeah, so with including the annual software fee, it's $13,823.40 a year.
A month, okay, a year, yeah.
I thought there was another option.
We can't buy it out, right? We can't just purchase it.
Can I make a public comment?
Sure.
My presentation's not quite over with, but yeah, let's, you could go to the last page. So basically, next steps, we would need to finalize with you guys, initiate the lease agreement, and then coordinate installation and content design, and then, launch and promote it as soon as possible. As soon as it's signed, they will start working on content with us right away. So I would imagine that's not going to be a really fast process, but we would want to get that going as soon as possible. We're talking about funding for next year, I guess. So really the funds, we could start the lease July 1, I guess.
Yeah, it's funded July 1.
Yeah. So we would more likely be able to sign the contract that's, starts July 1. But the goal would be to get it up and going as soon as possible. So do you think the town of Alpine could start the whole process and then we just know the funding will come in starting July 1?
Yes, and repeat that one more time.
Can the town of Alpine sign the contract, get everything going? We're not worried about being refunded or, reimbursed for anything the first month or whatever. I guess technically, we'd want our first payment to come in after July 1st, but I wonder if they'd be willing to sign the contract, make it valid for July 1st, but get started with the content and all that stuff. So when July 1st hits, we can maybe even have that thing going.
So to answer that, I'd say regardless, be it this project or any project, and this is for you guys to know too, is whether this project or any project is approved or not approved, it all still goes back to the town. So say we approve it and along with everything else, or not approve it along with everything else, everything we approve or not approve still goes back to town council. They have the final say. And so if, say we didn't approve it, but then the town council can rewrite that and go, no, we want to approve it, we want to throw it in there. So, because we are essentially making recommendations to give to town council. So with that said, is I wouldn't do anything until council approves it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That'd be my,
Which could be as soon as, like,
it's whenever our,
June 3rd.
whenever our budget, third reading on our budget.
Oh, it'd be June 20th or whatever then.
Yeah,
So we're not gonna gain much by then anyway, yeah.
no, because you guys have, the council has the final.
Right.
So,
So anyways, no matter what the timing is, I think, getting it up and going, sooner rather than later and start reaping the benefits for sure is what's interesting to me. And, what are your thoughts in general?
I mean, my thought is, I have a couple thoughts, but my first one is that, obviously it's nice having something there rather than nobody there,
Yep.
So that's a thought, but, the cost is definitely worrisome, and the amount of use that it's gonna get is possibly concerning, I mean, maybe it'll get used a lot, I don't know, and having a 3-year lease, is tough to say, hey, let's go into this for 3 years, rather than, hey, let's test this out for a year. If it works, let's go for it. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'd be more apt to approve a $13,000 first year or whatever you had there on that number and see how it goes. And if it doesn't go well, we're probably not going to approve it next year. And if whatever penalties it is to either send the thing back, or if the town wants to take over the payments,
That's right.
that would be a decision at that point. But,
Yep.
I don't think I would be personally quite comfortable with committing to 3 years on it right now.
Well, hesitation is that when we had a live person, that didn't work either. You know what I mean? We had the numbers there, there was nobody stopping. So my concern of where we're putting it,
Just to clarify, we did have people stopping and we
I
got.
know, but not the numbers that we needed to keep her there, right?
Right. Well, she also chose not to come back for this year in light of the fact that it may not have been funded. So,
Okay.
yeah.
But yeah, the numbers, I mean, the numbers that they
there.
presented weren't high,
Yeah.
there wasn't I mean, there are some months that were obviously better than others, but, during the off-season months, it was,
Where it was,
permits
because of
only.
where it was, tractor trailers, big
Yeah, yeah.
RVs are not gonna stop there. They're not, no matter how well it's lit. They're not gonna stop.
how, has there been a thought process with, opening and closing the restrooms as well? Will we have those open?
We do that already.
Right.
Yeah.
So is there, just going into the future, like I'm just thinking, okay, I'm driving down the road, I see visitor center, sign for visitor center, do we have,
Which has been taken down
Yeah.
on the building.
right?
Yeah.
So will we have a sign that just says like information kiosk and restrooms? How we attract that person to
Yeah.
pull over?
I guess it depends on where it's going to be located. If we have the option to put it at Brolam's,
Yeah, I
then
think
we
it's 1,000% gonna depend on where it's located,
Yeah.
because like I said, it's still RVs, trucks pulling RVs, they're not going to be able to pull into
Right.
that parking lot for the most
No,
part. I mean,
it'll definitely
around
get-
that one park, yeah, next to the Bull Moose, but I mean,
No,
it's just,
if we had an option,
it's not set up for it.
yeah, I mean, if we had if it were at Brolam's, that would definitely be
People are just gonna come out and use it,
Yeah,
yeah.
I can introduce it to those guys for sure,
And then,
run it up the flagpole,
and
as far as location.
Shay, did you have a?
One more, let me finish my final thing that I want to say, and then I'll step down and then answer any other questions you guys have. But this is, you think of tourism dollars that are being paid for at the hotels, things like that. This is to benefit the tourists. So there's a lot of things that we talk about that benefit the town of Alpine. The people that are going to be paying for this are the ones that are staying at the hotels, and they're the people that are going to be using this information. So to me, it makes sense to have something. If you guys decide this isn't the right option, then we still need to keep looking for another option. But if you look at the letter of the law, like basically you need to spend money on things that benefit the tourism, and I think this is a very good application. So, any other questions for me before I let Shay make? Okay,
Thank you very much.
thanks, guys.
Yes,
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
And first, I have to apologize. I missed your last two meetings, or I would have brought this up a lot sooner. I think I want to encourage you to vote against it, and I'm only going to give kind of my reasoning behind it. 90%, 97% of Americans own a cell phone. 88% of them own a smartphone. So it's like 300 million people own their smartphone. What I am hoping. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, it's all right. So, no, and I just want to get to the point. So what I'm hoping is, as Eric said, if it's not the kiosk, what is the option? I just got back from Europe, never walked in one place. I did public transportation. I did my hotel. I did every event that I wanted to do for 11 days off of this. So what I want to encourage, and what I've always said is, I would love to see $30,000 spent on a Town of Alpine app. Because then we're not dealing with something, you can't find it. We could put up signs everywhere that say, hey, here's the Town of Alpine app that would have everything that the kiosk would have, but I don't leave my hotel room. I don't have to walk in the dark. I don't have to walk through the rain. I don't have to worry about a lease option. I don't know how detailed an app costs, but I can tell you what's available on this is, I feel like, our future of where we're going to get the most traffic. And I feel like the app could also give us the number of people that access the app. So I feel like the sign goes up at Brolam's, the sign goes up at the Civic Center, the app is everywhere. And then that's kind of how we push traffic through. And then if there were questions that maybe somebody wants to reach out, that they need to talk to the town live, there might be that within the app. But that's just my take.
So people have to download an app to be able to get this information?
I downloaded an app to get on the Prague Metro in 30 seconds, and then I toured the whole town. So I think that's kind of where I'm at. And I'm not trying, I mean, it's just for me, I feel like for dollars spent, an app gives you so much, a larger breadth of accessing people versus them finding a kiosk in one spot. Thank you.
Thank you, Shane.
Fair enough.
So here's kind of my thoughts on it is, one, I like all the information that it's getting out. The feedback that I've received from the community is, it's kind of just that. It's like, how would we not do it, why not an app versus a physical deal? And then vandalism, weather, I mean, I know it's weatherproof, but these are just.
But will be used in the weather.
Right. What it really kind of comes down to me is the 3-year lease. Will we be burdening the net, because we don't know if this will pass next year. If there was a 1-year lease, then I'd be like, sweet, let's try it out. But I don't know, one, if we'll be here in 2 years, if we'll be voted in. I hope so. Click like and subscribe. But I would be very curious, kind of along those lines of like something that everybody can take, and it is either an app, a QR code that just says, bam, let's do this, going for that way. And
I think even Jackson was advertising on Facebook today that they have a full app to show you where to go and where the trails are and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, I know it's out there, but
Yep. Yeah, if you go to like TV Tap, their website, and then they have one of the tabs on their website, these are all the trails within it.
Yeah.
And you can go there, and then they advertise it with QR codes in the motels and
everywhere.
hotels.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everywhere.
So I think we're on the right path, definitely, for sure. I'm not 100% sold on the kiosk. I'm sorry.
What if it was a 1 year?
If it was a 1 year, I'd love to
I would
see a
say
1
if
year.
it was a 1 year, I would give it a test drive too, and I would love to see it at Bruins just to get some intel and find out if it's worth it or not, or if we should look at other avenues.
Yeah.
And I think an app is a really good avenue.
Jen, you have testimony to? I just have a couple questions. Can you come up to the mic, pretty please?
Hey, Jan Hansen, Alpine town resident. Question is there any data on other towns or places that have used this and how successful it was?
There's tons of data. There's, obviously, they sell them.
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, they sell, thousands of these a year, or lease, they sell them, but they lease a bunch. But, we have, I don't know, there was 10 different towns that, there's just a few here, been there. But you can have that would answer to your first question. You can also go to their website and figure out everywhere that they have them.
Okay, and then my question, this is just a general question, how much money does the Travel and Tourism Board have to disperse for grants this year?
For this year, we,
A ballpark is fine, just,
ballpark, considering what we've already approved, I'd say we're at 120,000. So we have the funds to fund this.
What did you bring in this year? Or what did you bring in last year in revenues?
Last year was it was 180,000. 140,000, which will bring in more this year statistically because the town annexed in Flying Saddle and the RV resort, Alpine RV resort.
Okay, and then I think in terms of where to put this thing, it seems like this parking lot is a better situation for people to pull in with big vehicles or RVs or whatever they're pulling. I like the spot there at the Civic Center, but it's the parking situation isn't going to encourage people to, like you said, drive their vehicle there. I guess they could pull over on the side of the road. And then also the cost of signage, I don't know what that would be. And this $3,000 to upgrade this thing every year, that just seems like a lot. And I don't know this other option, how much that would be in comparison to this idea. So those are just some thoughts I had. So, thanks.
Thanks, Jen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The last thing I'd say about the app, I
Please.
think that would have to be very thought out. I don't think that you're going to get nearly the amount of people walking by or using an app as you will get walking by if we were lucky enough to get it at Brolam's. You're going to get, potentially hundreds of people a day at least looking at it. An app, I don't know how you have to sell the app somehow. You have to get the word out about it, and everyone that's driving through the town of Alpine, I just do not see them downloading the app. But I might be wrong. But anyways, I think another thing to consider is, we can return it. I'm sure there's some penalty if it doesn't work out. But that's it. I think it's worthwhile to try something. But if you guys feel we go in a different way, then we need to come up with a great idea, figure out how to support these people that are looking for information. So.
Is it 3 years or nothing? Is that what we're approving?
There's not there's not an option for a lease.
Less than 3.
Less than 3.
Okay.
I don't even know, we'd have to call this Somerset Capital and ask them, like, what if we paid it off sooner, But I don't think they allow you to make more lease payments or so.
Yeah.
So my thought is, where we're at third reading, and again, we send out recommendations to the council. So we're at third reading. we can do our vote, but also do it with calling the company and saying, find out, for council, one, what happens if, we have to give it back in a year? What is the penalty, if it's something where it's a,
What do we decide is like not enough action where we want to return it? Like,
right,
what is that number?
say, if we can put on our, if you wish, you can put on an amended solution to say, or amended motion to, say, if this is going to be, oh, what were we at? So it's 13,823, if you break it down by this, $13,823.40 a year. Say if there's a year lease of $15,000 with penalties and, like, oh yeah, we're doing a 3-year lease, but, where we can have it for a year of test for under 15,000, then that would get our approval. Or we can just do, minimum, the 36 months at essentially $41,470.20 and go under contract for 3 years. We would have to get council's thoughts on that, because going into a contract for 3 years, I don't think it should be an issue, but where we are putting, not necessarily a burden, but we're
Signing
choking
a
up
contract for somebody else,
future
yeah.
councils, right? So this is a little different than other things that we work with the council, but we'd have to get Jim's blessing on that. Again, this is for our approval, but I'd also be curious, of a comparison of an amp company or whoever's doing our website of like, hey, what do we have, a QR code that does, a quick map of the town where the hotels, motels, Airbnbs, and not necessarily Airbnbs, you can find that on Airbnb, but hotels, motels, and RVs are within town, restaurants, directory essentially, and then the put-in for the lake, the trailhead for the Grays, Jordan Canyon, stuff like that.
As well as locals, so
As
that
well
they
as-
know
Yeah, and
who to
then,
drop off.
and then also communicate with high-traffic areas such as Brohams of like, hey, is this something you guys would consider partnering with the town of Alpine
Yeah.
to put it in there, if that is an option? I'm just trying to think of options here.
Everything you just described is what the kiosk could do.
Right,
Right.
right.
Well, and I just looked it up. It says, most municipality apps for tourism are 10 to 25,000 for a basic app, informational only. A mid-range app, which would have interactive features, would be 30 to 50,000. So that's kind of just your breakdown. I mean, that's very general,
Right.
but would be an option.
Thank you.
But does this have internet capability? I mean, can somebody like buy their Christmas tree permit on there and then email the receipt to their email or something?
Yeah.
Potentially.
Absolutely.
That's different.
As far as I'm concerned, like someone could go do their building permit over there. You wouldn't do that, but that's what it can do.
Right,
Like you're
right.
going to be able to
It'd be
go.
nice to see it develop over time into something where, you can get permits or whatever you need in town.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
we're interactive as well as we're local.
I think it's like Christmas tree permits or something like that. Like I know we're trying to direct people to maybe the Chevron or anywhere like that. But I think the sky's the limit. I mean, we kind of can throw things at it and see if it sticks as well. We had to do some more research about some of those specific things, but
It'd be nice to have a link to like, hey, here's your ATV permit, here's your snowmobile permit, here's your.
Yeah, no, like,
I mean, I think another
It's a
thing.
great place to
I would love that a
cross-country
lot.
ski down the street, isn't that?
Another thing that might be great is we need to check, but maybe this company would work in concert with an app, or they help develop an app, because it's like all the same information. So I don't think this is a one-size-fits-all, but it can definitely grow. You know, if you guys choose to, you know, take more time to research other things, then maybe we even have the backup option of doing an additional. If you didn't pass it on third reading, we could maybe put in another application and do some more research on it. But anyways, of course you can see I'm passionate about it because I want to see something happen instead of not have information. So I think there's other options if you guys decide not to pass it right now. But the leasing is a real detriment to this whole process. If the statute allowed us to actually buy stuff, it's just like the trail groomer, you know,
Right.
we're gonna be stuck with this option,
Yeah.
so.
One more question. So if we lease it, let's say for 3 years, and then it's totally outdated machine in 3 years, we can technically start a new 3-year lease and get a new updated machine, I guess?
Well, yeah, but it's a dollar buyout, so you're gonna own the one.
You're gonna own it anyway. Yeah, that's because it's not worth anything, basically, but, you know. I mean, my, you know, I don't know if this can go this direction, but my personal, take on this would be, approve up to $15,000 for a 1-year lease on this unit, contingent on if we can put it at, Brolin's. You know, that would be kind of like my thought, you know, if we want to amend the request. We'll make a motion to amend the request.
You can make a motion at any time to amend.
Yeah, so that would be my thought is
And that's
give it a
just
go
kind
for a
of
year,
ballparking.
but
If we were to take that
try to get a high traffic area.
and
for
it was
this.
just like a year lease where we accepted whatever penalties, is that the?
Right,
you're
right,
accepting?
right. I mean, basically, if it's gonna cost $20,000, then we're only approving up to 15. You know, so they have to say no or have to find the 5,000 somewhere else. I don't know. Try it out for a year, see how many hits the things gets, do some, you know.
I'm comfy with a year, and I would love to see if Williams would be interested. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities, I really don't. I think they would probably wonder like where they should put it as well. But I don't wanna speak for them either.
It's, you can make an amended motion at any time.
And
That's
we
what you
don't
choose
need
to do.
to ask the town to amend the request, the application.
So what our job here is to make, we basically make advisories to the town.
Yeah.
So applications come to us, we either approve or deny them. Essentially, we're advising the town of Alpine, we think this is good, we don't think this is good, but essentially it comes down to the town council, they have the final
Yeah,
say.
yeah.
So we could say whatever we want to and amend it, and it's like, you know, this is what I would like to amend a motion up to 15,000, yada, yada, yada. And then, at council meeting, when they go through the budget, they could also say, you know, we know that the, Travel and Tourism Board recommended, up to $15,000, but we've got some new information and we think this is good. And then the town council could vote yay on it for the full amount. That's their prerogative.
For nay based on.
Or nay based on, yeah, exactly. It's, the town council has the final say.
Okay, yeah.
It is
Well-
our job just to advise one way or the other.
I'll make a motion to amend the application from Town of Alpine for the kiosk for a maximum of $15,000 for 1 year of use, for 1 year lease. Being that it be at Brolin's and that the town works with Whitehall on putting signage available on the street there.
And if you agree with that amendment, then you'd second it. If you do not agree with that amendment, then you just keep silent and that amendment dies. And then you can come up with your own
Well,
amendment.
I was gonna say, but so, what if it's not at Williams, then it dies as far as this?
Nope, so you can second it, and then you can make an amendment to the amendment and further to the discussion.
Okay, and so what if I second it,
So you
but it
second-
doesn't
that
work out
doesn't-
at Brulins? Like,
That
you
doesn't
don't
approve
even
it, no.
like
So
okay.
that just continues on with the discussion.
Well, I'll second that.
Okay, so continuing on with the discussion.
Okay.
So what,
So what if it's not at Brulins? Like, what if they say no for whatever silly reason? I can't imagine that they would. I would think that they would more foot traffic the better, but what if it's not? What if it's not?
I don't know,
Mm.
I would say it just dies in. You know,
Yeah.
and next year we can either relook at this if they put in an application for it, or we look at an app or something like that, you know?
Because I love it at Bruins, but I hate it anywhere else.
Right.
Just 'cause
I just don't
because
know
of
how
the
much use it's
traffic
gonna
of it.
get at the,
And I see how many people
It's
stop there. They're
center.
getting cut fruit bowls just to go to the lake. They're going.
oh, I know, it's nuts
Everybody
in there,
is
you know,
stopping,
like,
they have
this,
no choice.
right.
So
Is there some
if it's
attractive
not
display
there,
that says
I feel like
interact
it might
20?
die, but I don't know.
So with the motion, yeah, you can put in stipulations of that's what you would recommend. If there's another location,
That's what I'm wondering, like,
If you're set- if
I
you're
can
set on
definitely
that
talk to
location,
those guys tomorrow
then
about
that would essentially be our recommendation.
Okay,
So again, we can put that as a recommendation. But just to know, so nobody has hurt feelings, it ends at the council.
yeah,
So,
for sure.
so we can give our recommendation to the council, and then the council may completely rewrite it or do something
I
different
would
to
love
it.
to see it for a year.
Um,
I just want it to be smart at its location, cause I feel like it will fail over there. I'm even worried about it being here. I think it's gonna be foot traffic only. I don't think they're gonna get on their phone and be like, well, where's the kiosk? Or it happened, or you gotta be really brilliant about your signage, even for them to see it in here. I think the magic is gonna be them walking by it and seeing it.
Yeah.
And the only way that they're gonna get the most traffic out of that is it being over there. I don't see why Brulums would not want it there. Like, that would be a no-brainer to them. But like I said, I don't wanna speak for them. So I will chat with those guys first thing in the morning, cause I think they might be interested.
It'll add a lot more foot traffic, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, that would be like, so where are we gonna put it? Like, that kind of thing too. I think they'd be interested. I do. So I think it would be where to put it and what that would mean to them and as far as real estate. Yeah, exactly. So I'll do that tomorrow.
So to recap, the amended motion would be for a maximum of $15,000 for 1 year at a location, with the location being Broham's with their approval. Is that correct? Okay.
Correct.
And, you know, the town working with Whitehall on getting some signage on the highway saying 24-hour, you know, visitor kiosk or something.
Was that in your original motion?
That was,
I thought it
Was.
that was in the original, yeah, the original amended motion.
Okay.
So off of 26 or 89, because if we're
Yeah.
keeping it at, it'd be a sign over there, not
Right.
over there. That's, okay. I just want to make sure you,
Yeah.
okay, yep. Okay, any further discussion on amended motion? All those in favor of the amended motion, say aye.
Right.
Aye. Now back to the original motion. So on third and final reading, all those in favor of the new amended motion, passing this on to Alpine Town Council for a maximum of $15,000 for 1 year at the location of Broham's with white-out signage on the highway to announce 24-hour tourist information, 24-hour information kiosk to something, or something to that effect. Say aye.
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 Aye. Okay. And anybody's wondering, I already recused myself from the council side of things that deal with this side of things, and I'll be doing the same vice versa. Okay, next,
Trail groomer?
trail groomer. Get that, can I have a motion for third reading for Town of Alpine Trail Groomer application?
Motion for third reading of Town of Alpine Trail Groomer. What's the amount requested here? Let's see. Is it still, 36,000
I think so, 30,
per year for 5 years?
You say 36,000 maximum per year for 5 years.
there it is, yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Those costs.
36,000 for maximum 5 years.
Yep.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Okay, discussion. Okay, I think we're at the same place with this as far as the year looking at, looking at
$12,000 a year?
a one
I don't know.
year versus a 5, and sorry, give me 1 second.
And another thing, what? There's a lot of very tech savvy people out there. You have no idea.
Has anything changed on this?
It will, nothing's changed on the original application, but I have new information.
It was on the
Somewhere
Doodle, so
here.
it's.
Where in the hell? There it is, okay. I have some new information from Mountain States Capital, where they are out of, they're out of Torrington, and what they do is they do lease packages for grooming, for utilities, to access utility, recovery, and they basically do a winter lease program. And so what they have and what I looked into, right now we don't know. So here's the question factors right now is accessing McCoy Creek. From our meeting, YDOT's going to look into it. Best case scenario, YDOT is going to fix it before this winter. They said their summer schedule is filled up, but they'd still try and look at it. They would go in, they'd fix it, and they'd fix it in such a way that we can get the large cat from McCoy Creek back to Alpine. That's best case scenario. Other case scenario is they'd still fix it because they're going to have to fix it because the river is essentially eroding. Well, you were there, the mayor was there.
Yep.
Is the river's eroding away the highway, so they're going to have to fix it sooner
I
or
saw
later.
something out there today.
So hopefully that happens this year. But without that, we can try and do a little sneak in with a narrower groomer. And the narrower groomer that I looked into was the Snow Rabbit. It is what Teton Valley purchased and uses for their grooming efforts on Teton Canyon and several other areas. The purchase of the Snow Rabbit is $154,000 plus, that's the base, so it just goes up from there. But regardless, that's a moot point for this board because we can't purchase equipment. However, they do an annual lease program and a year lease where they drop it off, pick it up, and then we run it. Is, where is it? It's around $40,000, $35,000 to $40,000
A year.
for that. Yeah, for that basically seasonal lease. Basically dropping it off in November and picking it up in April.
So kind of similar to the pricing we got here before.
Yeah.
So if they're gonna be grooming from McCoy to town, possibly this winter with their groomer, I guess the first question is, do we need this?
So that definitely be the first question. And for me personally, my answer is, yes, this would still, in my opinion, this would still be pretty great. One, because we can use this to, one, create a path through town that accesses, an official path that accesses from the Grays to McCoy Creek.
Right.
And what that does, according to Forrest from Wyoming Trails, is that creates more grant availability from Wyoming Trails to the town of Alpine to essentially, or to travel and tourism to lower the cost of this in the future. Also, by having that, it in my mind, it is a visual cue that this board is funding something, not just one event, but season-wide, that is addressing an issue in the winter through town. So I see it, not only the trails, but more specifically signage as well. So we're doing something to create a little more order through town as
That's gonna be huge. That'll be.
let snowmobilers, cross the river from Flying Saddle to Alpine Meadows to here. We essentially create a snowmobile trail system, an
Can this also
organized
be
system.
used by ATAP?
I'm sorry?
Can this also be used by ATAP?
It can, however, with ATAP's board, and I'll change hats and step away and then come back in as ATAP, where we've secured Bushong at twice a week, where this, until this is more than just a test piece, I don't want to get rid of Bushong
Yeah.
until we know that this is a good deal. So I still want Bushong grooming for ATAP, because that took years to solidify and build that relationship.
Yeah.
But yes, to answer your question, yes, it could.
One other point on that is if this becomes a rousing success halfway through the season and you decide you want to stop Bouchon halfway through, I'm sure that would be some pain, but this is an option because you only get reimbursed. ATAP only gets reimbursed for money they use.
Right.
So, if it is successful and they want to dump Bouchon, then they can do that and not have to be doubling up. Definitely the McCoy Creek to town is the huge thing that we're trying to get in there. And then going through town out to the Grays, we can do the bench coming down. We can have a trail going out to the cross-country ski trail and do all that. And basically, it would be run by either volunteers or town employees, and we get funding reimbursed through state trails to fund fuel and labor for someone
But
to
that, my next
drive.
question was labor, obviously insurance, and then,
Insurance for,
maintenance.
so especially since it's a leased vehicle, I would think you have a maintenance plan that goes with it, so I would think that's the best case scenario is to lease it.
And who pays for the maintenance?
Well, it'd be included
Oil
in the
changes
lease.
and stuff. Is it
Yeah, I was gonna
included?
say like regular oil, like
I don't know.
oiler kind of stuff, or we're talking like.
I don't know that specifically from like state trails, if they offer that, if they're paying for gas, maybe. It may fall onto the town at that point, but
Do we eventually own it?
No.
You never own
So
it.
there's
Well-
never a buyout.
you could,
You could,
under a certain scenario.
yeah.
And when it says 36,000 per year for 5 years, is that the minimum amount of time to lease is 5 years? Or can we just do year at a time?
With this company, you can do a year at a time.
Okay.
Yep.
I also think this is a huge thing that you could sell through all your advertising for the town. Destination, look at the trail network that they have built up, things like that.
Well, this is
A lot
really
of even
power
the
sport.
locals don't even all know where all the trails are. Like, I think it's a
It's
good.
a power sport
good thing to
community. I mean,
advertise.
not only I think will it attract more tourists over time because they're coming to a town with an established trail system that accesses two incredible trail systems, but just have that amenity alone, so.
Yeah. And it comes back to safety. That's the whole reason why we're looking at trying to complete that
Right.
part of the trail as well. I mean, the first time somebody gets killed trying to cross the highway in a
Yeah.
snowmobile, it's gonna
That
be
was actually the other thing I forgot to mention was the safety. I think it's gonna be huge on safety,
yeah. YDOT does want to help because they need to protect their asset that they put in there. And they didn't realize that it was eroding off the side of the road. And when we told them that, it kind of clicked something that this is the way that we can get this fixed, because they have to fix it and then shore it up so they don't have this problem going forward. Because in the future, what could happen is if it keeps sloughing away,
Yeah.
that the road just kind of falls in. So they have to make it right. So this might be an opportunity to take advantage of that. But
What you looking for?
I spoke with TVTAP, Teton Valley Trails and Pathways, and asked them what their cost breakdown, what they budget for annually, fuel, labor.
Just the usual bit.
And that's what I'm looking for, and I can't find it. I was surprised that it wasn't exorbitant. I want to say it was somewhere in the neighborhood of $1,700.
It's gonna be your normal, like, oil changes and stuff. like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Okay.
The,
Do you have any other comments, Shannon?
No, I mean, I would definitely love to see more trails go in and be protected that way, so I'm for it in the best way we can.
Is there any other public comments? I have some questions. Go ahead.
Please.
Jan, please.
Wait, to make sure that microphone's on, let's hear it.
There we go.
Hi, I'm Jan Hansen again. So, questions. What's the total mileage of trails we're talking about grooming around town, and the distance from here to McCoy Creek? It's like a mile, or I don't know how far it is. Mile and a half?
Probably 2 to 3 miles down there.
Three
Yeah, it's a
miles.
couple- Yeah, it's a couple, but.
3 miles
yeah.
down to McCoy Creek, Flying Saddle, maybe another mile or mile and a half or something.
I'm confused about where you're gonna put a groomed snowmobile trail. I mean, I know from here down to McCoy Creek, you're talking about using the right-of-way along the highway. Where would this go through town? How are you gonna groom something in the middle of our town for snowmobilers to drive on?
Well, maybe-
And,
Oh.
okay, go ahead.
Address that. I mean, the town came up with a route on one of their meetings. I mean, maybe you want to talk more to it, Eric, but I think that there is actually a designated route.
And is that on like the roads, or where is it?
Parcel on the side of roads and parcel on the wide out right away.
Okay. And then, my other question is, it doesn't seem like this is a tremendous amount of trails that we're talking about creating. And I know what a groomer costs, because I've been skiing for a long time. Is there any way that you can use a less expensive piece of equipment to do the grooming that's required for this area? I mean, a groomer is huge. That's going to take up
Well, this-
half a road.
So yes and no. So groomers come in different sizes. So like the groomer that Bouchon has, say, that's on the large scale. The groomer that I'm specifically looking at, the Snow Rabbit, is on the small scale. But you can't go, or you don't want to go any smaller than this, because then you just don't have the power that you need to kick out the whoops, to move the snow where you need to. So this is the smallest of the biggest that you need.
But I really see this as a snowmobile trail. I'm not going to be skiing on a trail that snowmobilers are driving on, probably. I mean, I do go up Grays River Road because there's no actual trail yet. We're working on that to get to the trail that you want to ski on. So I see like this is a huge expense to put in a snowmobile trail, essentially, and it's a lot of money. I just feel like that's a lot of money to put towards this. That's my opinion.
Clarify for Jeremy.
Thanks. So Yes and no. So it's not, this will be groomed as a multi-use trail, so for motorized and non-motorized. I would say the vast majority of it will be motorized, because in the wintertime, that's, who we are as a town. We like our cross-country non-motorized, but we're far outnumbered in the motorized trail. So the track that it'll put down, it will be corduroy track. So it will be a multi-use trail. It's not going to put down, or I should say the path that it'll put down is a corduroy. It will not put down a track for skis. It will be a multi-use trail that anybody can get on, but yes, it will predominantly be used by snowmobilers. And it's really, I don't see it being much different through town than what ATAP already does with the rollers. Because, once especially you get on the Gray's bench behind your house, how many snowmobilers stick to the trail as opposed to just zip across the meadow?
Zipping through my yard.
Yeah,
They go where they want.
So really what this will accomplish in my mind is first and foremost helping us create a real designated pathway through town from the Grays to McCoy, accessing those grant dollars from Wyoming Trails. So that will help out with signage and other things. Also, what I see it is putting more order to the visitors who come here, because we will have signage, and so it's not going to be snowmobilers cruising through people's yards and stuff like that. I mean, I'm sure they're still going to be there, because there always is, but at least in my mind, it presents more order, it gives the opportunity for more order, and we can promote that with more order. Like I go up to, West Yellowstone, Island Park, they have designated trails everywhere, and for the most part, people keep to those. So that's where I kind of see the positive of this. And also I see the positive as getting across the bridge, as connecting from across the bridge to Alpine in a safe manner specifically, because that's, as you know, I stopped taking the roller over there it was probably January that I stopped, because it was just, I didn't like it.
That's the most dangerous part of the trail
Yeah.
we have in the area. There's
Yeah.
been, every single year, there's been accidents there.
Yeah.
Actually, last year, not this past winter, but 2 winters ago, we had the Jersey barrier up, and there was an accident where a gentleman was riding probably too late at night and couldn't see the end of it, ended up hitting the Jersey barrier and ended up in the lane of traffic. Broke his leg and everything. So we're trying to figure out, that's why we didn't put the Jersey barrier in this year as a test. And I think it's still up in the air whether we put the Jersey barrier back or not. But one point of clarification, why aren't we looking at a groomer that will do the cross-country trail as well?
This will do both, but for the town to put in a track through town.
Oh, no, yeah.
Okay.
Just the ski trail.
Yeah. This potentially can do that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I wouldn't have it do that through town,
No.
because that would create.
No, you don't want
It could be like a joint.
Exactly.
Yeah, but we would have to figure out the mileage, but I would think it's somewhere, if you counted the ski trail, it might be 20 miles of trail that this could do. The other advantage is, if it's a piece of equipment that we have, if you're in the middle of a snowstorm, you're not bound to Wednesday and Saturday of getting the grooming done. So you could groom 7 days a week if you wanted to. And similar to what they do on the Grays, State Trails pays for that grooming 7 days a week throughout the entire winter. So, if this became something that was very popular and kept coming back year after year, there is funding through the state to pay for this going forward. So I think it could be a huge benefit, so.
And I'll read so if looking at specifically with Mountain States Capital, their lease, price is based on 160 hours a month. Additional hours will be billed at $93.19 $93.19 an hour. The cost is $14,910 a month, with a minimum 1-month lease. A season lease, see, Jan, the season lease is $34,900, and that includes 480 hours of use. For, like I say, for this snow rabbit. So we're looking, this lease falls within the guidelines of the application. It's just, this is a test. In my mind, the positive to this is it's 1-year lease. We can test it out and then go forward, because if it's something that works out, and it works out well, also I see it as a joint effort between ATAP, Top of the Rockies, Town of Alpine, to raise money to purchase a snow rabbit. And then, then maybe this board pays for labor or something like
Yeah,
that
the
to kind of
maintenance
fill in
or
the
whatever.
gaps here and there.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what's out there. That's what I know. It's her E-car.
Oh, man.
I know, they all sound funky. Sounds like,
That sounds almost grinding.
yeah, they all sound like that when they go in reverse. It's creepy.
It's, it creeps me out.
But this is an option that I found that we can kind of get in there
Yeah.
and give it a test run, so to speak.
That's the direction I'm steering, is what you just said there. Just-
Yeah, I like the 1 year, again, to just try it out, I think, it's gonna be great, it's gonna be fun. I like it.
There are just one other point of clarification. To get that funding, the town of Alpine does have to pass a law establishing a formal route through the town of Alpine. So I don't think you have to make that a stipulation or anything for you guys, but I want everyone to know that we are going to have to establish, a route through town, and there's gonna have to be signage and all that stuff. So you may consider making sure that you have enough money in there for signage as well.
Thank you. I was just going to say the same thing. So right now, the application, what was that, 36?
36,000 per year for 5 years.
So if you want to, like before, if you want to amend the motion for either a different amount or a different time period, you would have to amend the motion.
Is there any estimated cost on signage or something like this, or?
So, it
Depends on how big you wanna go.
well, it depends on how big you want to go, but also as the town has to put in, technically legal signs. It's not just signs you order off, well, you can order them
It's
off
like
Amazon.
the green
But,
highlighted signs?
yeah,
or- okay.
you're gonna want, metal, aluminum signs with reflective.
Yeah.
Didn't the town, we already approved the town for these signs?
We did a winter trail off of Grays through the back. Trail Drive, yep. But I think with the mayor, and please correct me if I'm wrong, he's thinking more in the grand scheme of things. So not just there, but behind us here, out to the side, more of a true pathway system. Is that correct?
Yeah, for
Yeah, okay.
I think recreation sign is supposed to be brown.
Brown,
Yep.
yep,
Melody's the one to ask about the cost of signs.
yeah.
Sign master.
I would guesstimate, what, like on the high end, 4,000?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
Yeah,
On the high end.
on the high
Yeah,
end.
okay.
Yeah, I would bet, probably 2,000 really.
Depends on how many are you supposed to.
Yeah, that's the thing, I think we need to establish the route through town at a minimum. And then like the bench and all that stuff, maybe we can have more of a temporary sign or a smaller one, like what you do for the ski trails.
Right.
So
the ski trail signs, I think that cost me, if I remember correctly, probably all of around $600. There was 3, 6, 9, 11. I think I have somewhere around 13 signs.
Oh, really? Okay.
So, I'm sorry, what was the cost of this thing here? for the
So,
1
so,
year?
season lease, a minimum, $34,900, and that's with 480 hours. There is speculation where if you go beyond that, then it's $93.19 an hour.
Yeah, yeah.
And then that is just the lease program. So, and then pickup and drop off, I don't see it on here, but she quoted me, I want to say it was like $1,500 to pick up and $1,500 to drop off, and then another 50, so $3,000 for pickup and drop off, plus or minus.
That's 37 something.
What was the pickup drop off, sorry?
3,000.
So
1,500.
37,900 now?
1,500 to drop it off, 1,500 to pick it up, roughly.
So I'll go ahead and make a motion to.
Amended motion?
Amend the application from the town of Alpine for the trail groomer. That we do a 1-year lease for the 37,900, that which includes transport plus 4K allowance for signage. And we try it out for a year.
Would you like to say signage and miscellaneous?
Science and miscellaneous. And the only other caveat to that is I'd say the town of Alpine, which they said already, but would take care of maintenance, labor, and insurance on it.
Second.
So we have an amended motion. Any discussion on the amended motion? Any discussion from the crowd? Okay, hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Right?
Aye. Back to the original motion. So now we have a motion for a price of 37,000,
900, which includes transport.
37,900 with an additional 4,000 for signs and miscellaneous for a 1-year lease. And we'll just leave it open. My guess is that this Mountain States, they're kind of the closest and best that I've found, but if somebody else comes up, we'll just leave that part open, put it that way.
Meaning like if you get a better deal?
Yeah,
Okay.
if somebody else comes up with, that's also leasing a snow rabbit, that way the town's not committed to
To that
Mountain
company
States,
in
to that
particular.
company in particular. It can be flexible, or even they can be like, hey, this, they can work with it anyway. All right, any other further discussion?
No?
Okay, all right, all in favor?
Right?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Madam Secretary, did you get all that?
I did,
Okay.
I think.
Writing like a maniac.
Great idea on top of the Rockies too, if they can share in man hours and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, let's see, we've been jumping around.
We're doing shade?
Got kiosk, Shay, please.
All right, babe, girl, get up.
Winter Jubilee, not Winter Jubilee, but
Mountains.
music feedback from last summer.
Was it, I got great feedback. Everyone seemed to love it, and I feel like our crowds, weather messed with us a little bit, but overall, I'd love to click every person there. You were there a lot.
Do you
100
you have your report?
Oh, my report on how it went?
Yeah.
Or, I can give you a verbal report. I have to apologize.
Okay, so every grant,
That is a recipient, then give a report.
right.
Okay.
So if you look on is it application or guidelines? Application? Guidelines?
But yeah, applications are good too.
Okay, so if you look
Oh,
at
okay.
the application,
Okay,
on the feedback report, it has specific items that need to be answered.
oh, lovely. Then I did not do that.
And then, so you can go down and.
Can I peek? Do you guys have one right here? Just shows me, because I could literally give you
Yeah, well, if
every
you go
bit
to the
of.
town's website.
Okay.
Off your phone.
That's okay. If you don't, I'll just pull it up. I apologize.
But we'll also need one submitted for record.
Oh, no, I will submit one, absolutely. I will do it tomorrow, and you will have it in your inbox. Should I email it to Melody?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
and I have all my receipts right here. Okay, so let me pull that up real quick. I thought I had to report on what I was.
You already got approved.
I did, okay.
You got approved for this year.
Okay, well, I thought tonight was the third reading, so I was.
We approved it on yours and several others on
Okay.
second reading.
Anyway.
Thank you. Well, now I'm embarrassed that I don't have my report. I know,
Oh,
you
yeah,
covered
right.
me.
You were backing you
And look what I did to Eric. I'm like, vote against Eric. Okay. Okay, is it on the town website
Yep, town
under,
website under community,
under community? Okay.
travel and
I'm
tourism.
gonna find this and I'm gonna give you a report, but I will give you a written one tomorrow. Okay, travel and tourism. I'm almost there. Is it the grant guidelines application? Grant guidelines. I
Application.
think it's on the application. That's what I thought too. Okay, here we go.
Scroll to the bottom,
Yep.
feedback.
See, I'm all worried about filling in that bigger stuff. Post-project. Okay, I'll give you a recap. As far as the event went, we had 10 music nights. So we decided to kind of have a blast last summer. Wanted to see the difference of, I think the first year was 6, last year was 10. It was great. I feel like we were well attended. As far as attendees, so Eric, you were there a lot too, but I want to say I would have nights, 75 would probably be my low, but I feel like I hit 150 plus on a few nights depending on the bands. Because some of the bands would do their own self-promotion, which kind of helped with attendance. I hope they do that for us again, so we'll see how that goes. I will provide pictures. I took some all summer. That's one of your guidelines. I will put that in my report. As far as sponsorship, I have drafted a letter, so I'm going to reach out to 4 or 5 companies this next week. I'm hoping to raise $2,500 to $3,500.
This is on the
Last
past
year.
event.
I'm sorry, last year. So in the last year, I got Osprey, Gray Bear. We got a few. I was going to say, I probably hit almost 4,000 in sponsorships. So that for us was a good offset because whatever I can do to get sponsorships against, that helped us last year.
Did you get any Venmo? Didn't you have some
Not,
Venmo?
I didn't.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I never got Venmo.
We have the Venmo for this year.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we will put Venmo out for this year. But for last year, no, we didn't want to put out, I mean, I didn't really want to put out any like boxes for money, just because I felt like I was trying to make this kind of just a free event so people would attend. But I do like the idea that this year we'll put out a Venmo.
So we could have like a QR code there or something. you know,
Yeah, I
where
was
people
saying
can-
QR code would
We
be
have a banner
perfect.
with the QR code.
Oh, cool,
Okay.
awesome.
Yeah, and as
So
far,
it's going back to this event,
Goes
not
to
to
the
the
town.
band, right? Okay.
yes, oh no, it will go to the town.
Goes to the
Okay.
town.
Yeah, we did have one awry last year of a drunk gentleman collecting for bands, and so we had to try to slow him down.
Is my uncle here again?
I don't know, but he was very, very persistent, and I had to have a little chat with him. Yeah, though I will be honest, we were nervous, he disappeared, but the band did end up getting the cash, so it did work out. I feel like as far as the, explain how the project event created tourism, one thing, I did run into a couple people that said they were visiting, and they were very sweet, and I think after I had spoken on the mic, they came up to me and said, we really appreciate this. Because for them, it just added to their dynamic being in town, and especially that they got the farmer's market, they got some music, and I think it just brought them to feeling community, and that was an awesome
Quite a
feedback.
few people that were like, well, we saw the commotion, we pulled over, we were gonna be driving through, but
Yeah, which
they
I,
pulled over because they saw the crowd.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that crowd.
I do too. How did it make a positive impact on the community? This one is very simple. Everything I heard was everyone who lives in this town got to see each other. We always say we're going to see each other, we're going to hang out, but life gets busy and we don't. So Thursday nights were the time where you saw all your friends. You put your lawn chairs together, you chatted, kids were dancing. I feel like it brought community together every single time. So for me, that was a very wonderful thing. Okay, has my objective been met? Absolutely, 110%. I think the whole goal of music was, one, at the time, since it wasn't always tourism dollars, was to create community. But two, I now feel like one of the things I want to do, and I know this is future, but going back to this, is I would like all the hotels to know the music schedule. So I want posters done that we'll share with them. We did a lot on Facebook and we did a lot of social media. So last summer, tons of feedback that if I can keep posting what the bands were, they would always have comments and people would always respond. So that was a good one. Will you have the project again? Yes, we will. Okay, what changes would you make, if any? One, I would have more communication with hotels. Two, I want to get more sponsorships. So that's my other dynamic, because I want to be fiscally responsible of the money you give me, and I would like to not take all of it. So whatever I can offset, that is my end goal. I will say this, and I'll just jump again. We went down from 10 to 5. So as much as 10 was wonderful, I think 5 or 6 is going to be a much better dynamic, and more people will show up because they'll only have 5 or 6. So that's,
Less competition against.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It won't be like, well, I'll just catch the next one. You'll mark
Yes.
your calendar and you'll be like, no, we're doing it.
yeah.
I think it's a great idea.
So that was one of our changes. Did you make new connections to future partners for your project event? I did, in the sense of I had many bands reach out to me. So I think the word is getting out. We want to support local bands. This supports tourism. I think all of that it's been a really good symbiotic relationship. And I will show you my budget. I will share that. Thank you for my thank you for my invoices.
Thank you for putting on a great event last year.
Well, thank you guys, and I'm sorry I'm all over the map.
Can
I think,
make a
but
few comments
yeah,
as
for
well?
sure.
Actually, real quick, I had a question. We're going to fast forward to this year.
Yes.
Do you have a schedule out yet for this year?
I do not. So I have 3 of the 5 bands. Dave gave me another suggestion. I am just battling Jackson's schedule, and so as I try to keep local bands, that's been my hurdle. But I should have all
We have
5.
some potential dates already.
Oh yeah. Oh no,
We
I
just don't have the
apologize.
bands.
Yes, we are July 3rd for 5 weeks, and if I can go till August 7th, I will, but for now, we will be July 3rd, 10th, 17th, 24th, and 31st. And like I said, again,
Possibly August.
and
something.
possibly August 7th, but I realized, I think after that,
7th or
the 7th, August 7th.
Who do you have playing July 3rd?
I don't know, well, I have.
I'm like,
Well,
That's a big
Jed was willing to have his, not Dead and Co, because I can't call him that. What are they?
Venco?
What?
No, not Dead and Co. No. It's like Jeremy's like, well, then I'll be there.
Well, I
No.
I just came from there.
I know you did. No, Jed Frumpkin has a band that does Grateful Dead. Like,
okay.
so I'm trying to figure out him and another band. So
for the July 3rd.
for July 3rd. We were thinking about doing it at Melvin, but then the more I started to brainstorm, I want traffic.
great
It's
here.
perfect here.
Keep it here.
We're covered.
Yeah.
We have bathrooms. It's yeah, it
Plus
works
it gives
out
all
great.
the vendors a chance to sell their
Yeah.
goods and stuff too. I think it's great.
Yeah, but I've been in touch. Sound, equipment, we're dialed in. My biggest thing is once I get the last 2 bands, then I want to start advertising. And that way I kind of wanted to let all the sponsor potential folks know so we can get some funds in. So that is my update.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just wanted to make a public comment and give Shay all the flowers in the world. She's done an amazing job with this. It was her brainchild, and she has done so much work on it. One quick anecdote, last year, and I didn't go to all of them, but I went to as many as I could. But I have no problem talking to anybody, and I saw these 2 couples of like kind of people my age that looked like they were not from around here. They just were dressed very nice. I'm like, what are these guys doing? So I went over and talked to them. And they're like, yeah, we were looking for a restaurant, and we kind of saw this activity, and we figured, like, what's going on here? And we stopped, and there was great music, and all these people are up dancing and having a great time. Like, we've never been to Alpine before, but this is amazing. Like, I think they flew into the air park and were visiting some friends or something like that. is kind of the vibe I got. So, like, as many opportunities we can get for like food and stuff as well, those are,
That's kind of what I'm, well,
Yeah.
let me just tell you
Yeah.
real quick. So one of the things, another one when it says suggestion for this year, is we lost Jedediah's last summer. I don't know what happened, but their food truck didn't make it down. So I think that's the only thing I'm gonna work with Crystal Asno to see if we can get some more food options. I mean, what's great is your food truck area,
Mexican grocery store.
the grocery store, there's options, but I would like to have that beefed
There's
up.
also the family that makes tacos.
Okay, and I have to tell you, he killed it.
Oh, yeah. he kills
I mean,
it every
he
year.
killed it every week. So,
Yeah,
but I would like to up
Yeah.
the options. And I also talked to Crystal as far as, does everything have to be homemade at the farmer's market? Like, can we open it to a few more vendors? Because part of the dynamic that I'm noticing is to help community. It's so few vendors that people aren't coming as early as I would like for them to shop, because after they've done it once or twice, unless they're regulars and they buy every week from them. But I would like the vendor list to go up a little bit, just to get more foot traffic for them.
For sure.
Yeah, and I would like your opinion. We were starting music at 7 as the farmer's market ended. They had requested, could we start at 6:30 to then get people there earlier? Do you have an
I'd
opinion?
even go with 6. I mean, I would love to shop while the music is going. I mean, why not? And then have that
Can
go
we do
over.
like just music playing? Like, I
Yeah.
mean, whatever they set up and there's
Okay.
the DJ just, or.
Or maybe we just play music, because I want to be, and the reason why I ask this is Skylar shows up with equipment. Skylar has a job. So I want to be, and I have to talk to my sound guys too, because I don't know, I'm trying to think, can they get down here by
Yeah.
6 or 6:30?
Yeah.
But maybe it is we just turn on music and we have music
Be
playing.
great.
Okay.
I think
I
it
mean, if
would
you have the
help a
show
lot.
earlier, that's good.
I mean, I don't want to go much
Also,
earlier
if
than
you-
6:30 because of
But if you ask the
commuters.
sound guy and stuff and to be there longer and
Yeah.
so on, then.
Then my bill
it's gonna
goes up.
cost-
I know.
Probably gonna cost you more money. you know?
Okay. Might be just a giant JBL. We'll just play music.
We can always set up a Bluetooth on one of those speakers too, and like.
For
Okay.
sure.
They-
I think
they
as long
said
as music's playing,
Yeah, and I do want to,
vibe.
I mean, you guys are very sweet when you thank me, but Dave is the partner on this that got it going with me.
No,
So thank-
I don't know, I'm like a very small percentage of that, so thank you for
Let me say
everything.
just a couple other things real quick. So I did notice that in next year's budget, that you didn't allocate or didn't ask for any money out of the town budget. So the 20,000 that you're asking for here is what's going to cap you.
Yes.
What I would recommend as someone on town council, that you request a certain amount, let's say $5,000, because if you're not able to get any sponsorship dollars, then you're totally hamstrung. Like there might be programming that wouldn't happen if you didn't have that.
Well, I'm only doing 5 bands.
Right.
So I should be, I mean, the way I worked my numbers, I was okay.
Yeah.
But, no, I appreciate it. Maybe I will go that route.
Yeah, because I don't want you to be, like, I know the stress of getting sponsors is very, it's difficult. So I would
can
think
always
for the
ask
town, you
and
should
then
maybe.
just turn in the receipts for which it's.
I know.
Yeah,
why-
that's the thing. If you do get sponsors, you don't have to use that money, it's not a big thing, but you should budget for it, in my opinion. And there was one other point that I was gonna make, but, I might think of it. Anyways, I think, huge success. It's one of the best things we do in the town of Alpine right now in the summer.
Agreed.
And I just want to see it keep building, and I appreciate that 5 to 6 dates might be the sweet spot for us, and we're willing to try different things. But yeah, this is awesome, so.
And I'm super grateful.
No, we love it. We love it.
Thank you.
Awesome, thank you.
Why don't we go to Gray Bear?
Okay, I'll recuse myself from this,
Get a motion for approval of Gray Bear Productions, Reggae in the Rockies for third reading?
A motion for approval for the third reading of Gray Bear and the Rockies?
Reggae in the Rockies?
Reggae and the Rockies. Sorry.
And I'll
Hey, everybody.
Second that. Dave?
Dave Walters here. So our original application on the first reading was for $10,000 requested for a one-day event up at the Alpine 4-H camp on September 5th. Since our first reading, we found out that the additional $10,000 that we wanted from Lincoln County Tourism Board has been unsuccessful because of the lack in tourism board members down there and the having their stuff together. So we are at our second reading with the Town of Alpine Travel and Tourism Board. We asked for an additional $10,000 for that day one to make it a total of $20,000. So Gray Bear Productions is still asking for approval on that, as well as we mentioned last time on the second reading, if we added a second day, which we were in the process of putting together, which we have now finalized securing the bands and the arrangements for a second day. We've got a second day now planned for, that's going to be now for Saturday, September 6th. We've already got 3 bands booked, and I think a fourth is, actually just got a call on the parking lot saying that they're in, so we do actually have, what's that? So we're going to have Fortunate Youth and Sunsmith. Another band from Fortunate Youth is from Southern California. Sunsmith is from Boise. We also have Kyle Smith, which is from Ventura, California, Southern California, and then another small acoustic gal, Carrie, who played for one of the nights there. She's coming out to do a small set too, and also she's going to play in between the sets at the main show on the 5th. So kind of really putting together a great weekend here. We're expecting a lot more people to make the leap and go ahead and jump on board on this event coming from out of town because of the second day, and that I think just is more bang for their buck if they're going to do the miles and come out here and rent a hotel room and buy food at the restaurants and so on. Then I think it's going to be a great thing for this event to even bring more people in. So we are, expecting a good turnout. So the total amount we're requesting for the 2-day event is $25,000.
Dave, can you talk about what you're doing as far as cooperating with the local lodges and motels, hotels, RVs?
Yeah, we've met with the Cobblestone, we've met with the Alpine RV Park, we've met with Flying Saddle, and we've met with the Bull Moose so far, and all had one-on-one meetings with them. I have personally. So we have coupon codes that are going out that they've all issued us, even for the RV park. They even put out a coupon code for us so people can get discounts coming, which will be really good. They're being really supportive. I think after we're doing a few events like this, people just kind of get to know about the event. So they're all being really supportive. They've blocked rooms for us as well. And our major marketing campaign is going to be coming up here because we're getting a really cool poster designed for the whole weekend. That's going to highlight not only Saturday's events, but Sunday's festivities as well. And then we can put this all, just dump it out and in advertising and marketing and really get people hyped up about it. So, yeah. And then we're going to put out the hotel information with that marketing, so the hotel, so they know like, hey, this is where I can get a
So
discount.
again, how many bands on Friday and how many bands on Saturday?
So we have 3 Friday and 4 Saturday.
Nice.
Yeah. So.
I can say working with Dave, doing a couple-day event versus a 1-day event is going to be way better for the town. That will benefit all of us. If he does just a 1-day event, they're going to come in, they're going to camp, and they're going to take off first thing in the morning.
Right.
Way you're doing it, they're going to be here all weekend long. They're going to spend money everywhere they go all weekend long. I have nothing but positive to say.
Yeah, and we're also going to actually put out I think I mentioned it maybe before, but like a things to do tab on our website where during the day between shows or the day after, the day before the shows or whatever, hey, here's the local whitewater partner, here's the local ATV rental shop, here's the local restaurant where you can go get food. Put out all the list of all the local businesses so people can take advantage and make reservations and spend money.
I think it's better off for it to be extended to a 2-day, honestly, just because it keeps them here all weekend.
Yeah. And then that festival that wasn't successful in getting their plans together for this year, which was the weekend after in Montana, them shutting down, I think is really going to encourage people to kind of switch gears and make this their weekend festivities,
Okay.
Nice.
Get their reggae fill.
Yeah.
So
Here
then
now,
would you
fine.
like to amend the motion to include up to $25,000 for a two-day event.
I'd like to amend the motion to include up to $25,000 for a two-day event. Did you say that correctly?
I'll second that.
Come.
And speaking of one of the reasons, well, there's many reasons why I like that it's a two-day event. And as far as us covering it, the 2 days, picking up that side of the counties that where they haven't got their stuff together, I also feel good about that because we just poached 2 of their lodging tax people, so.
Oh, yeah.
Not people, but facilities. So now that the Flying Saddle and Alpine RV Park are in the town of Alpine and contributing to the lodging tax.
That's true.
I definitely have no reservations about upping it to 25,000 as well.
Cool, yeah, it's nice that, those are on board and those are contributing to the funds for sure.
Mhm.
You should also mention how many people you're anticipating.
Yeah, so we're anticipating, between 1,000 and 1,500 people, to visit the town that weekend and attend one or both events, so, I think it's gonna be a great turnout.
Did we say, is loadage of that weekend, that Saturday?
It is Saturday, yep,
Okay.
yep,
Just want
but,
Yeah,
keep the separated.
yeah.
North of the junction.
yeah.
Yeah, we're working with the county, the local EMS, fire, and so on, and law enforcement for that matter on everything. So the county's working with us on that, so make it all coincide and work well together and make sure everybody's safe out there with loadage and everything going on. It's going to be, even though it's the weekend after Labor Day, it's still going to be a busy weekend.
Oh, it's still be very busy.
It's also in shoulder season, like you're kind of like at the very end of the summer season, so anything we
It's
can
when all
do
the
to
kids go
extend
back to school and everyone
Right.
else travels.
Right, I think this is a great timing
Yeah.
for the event to actually
us
bring in
sunset
people
it.
when you normally see that dip right away.
Right.
Maybe it'll just hang on for another week and a half,
Yeah.
so.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. No, I think it's great. All those in favor on amended motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Back to the original motion. Any other? All right. Hearing no other discussion, all those in favor of third reading approval of Gray Bear Productions for Reggae in the Rockies up to $25,000 for their two-day event, say aye. Aye.
Thank you,
Congrats.
everybody, appreciate it.
All right. Last but not least, on approvals, I looked over, I don't know if it was your intent one way or the other to approve ATAP's application our last meeting, but you just approved it on the second reading, so we need to, you guys need to discuss it for third reading.
We approved it for second reading?
You approved it for second reading. I don't know if you meant to approve it, but there was
We
no-
meant to approve it.
We meant to approve it.
That's what I figured, but you did not do amended motion to approve it.
Oh,
Dave, do it,
so we gotta do a motion to amend,
No, it just went to third reading, so now it's just you do whatever you want with third reading.
oh, okay, well, motion to approve on third reading, ATAP's, trail, I'm sorry, what was it called, trail maintenance program?
Jeremy Larson with Alpine Trails and Pathways. It would be for alpine grooming of the lake bed to hire Bouchong up to $8,000 for the season.
Okay.
For the 25-26 winter season.
Motion to approve, Alpine Trails and Pathways, leasing through Bouchong, the grooming for 8,000.
Yes.
Should have wrote that down.
Our application is for $8,000.
Oh, for $8,000.
So I would
Second that?
second that,
Yeah.
approve it.
Second it,
I
yeah.
thought it was
Then you can
second it.
discuss it.
I don't want to discuss it. I thought we already approved it.
Still need to second it.
So you second it.
I'm gonna second it.
Would you like to discuss anything?
I don't want to discuss it.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Perfect.
How we do, Dad?
That's how you do it.
I literally sent out the letter that said we got it.
That's, I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's already.
And I'm like, I don't think we did. I'll watch that
Wait a s-
again.
Make sure it's done.
Okay, and then, now really, I believe last but not least,
The kiosk. No, I'm kidding.
Talk about that.
Let's talk about the kiosk. The art?
logo.
The logo, yeah.
Yes, art. Art. So I came back.
That's not the new one.
I don't blame you. Run, run.
Hey, this is really good if you want to stay for this.
Yeah, you gave us some good feedback.
It's a jaw dropper.
It's
I saw the new one had it more curved, the top
Yeah.
of the.
this one, right? Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. I'm good. I make a motion to approve the current logo.
Do I have a
I second
second?
it, yeah, like you can put it in white or black, any color, you can flip it on any image. And it shows everything you can do here.
Except for biking.
Well, once we get official bike trails, once there's actual official
You
bike trails,
can ride a
that's
bicycle
why I
here,
haven't
you
made
can
that,
ride a bicycle here.
that's why I haven't made that. No, I think, Kristen, correct? I think, yeah, what's her last name?
Miller.
Kristen Miller, thank you very much for all your work on this. Thank you for, your patience with this board.
Thank you, everybody, for.
Yeah, I really like it. And once we
Me
have
too, I
mountain
love it,
bike,
'cause like I said,
true
you can
mountain
stand
bike
it on
trails,
anything.
then, yeah, we'll throw a mountain biker.
Oh, we need a side-by-side on there at some point too.
Oh, yeah, that's true. So I have a first and a second. Any other discussion?
Nope.
All right, all those in favor of adopting Alpine Travel and Tourism logo, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And I'm going to throw a curveball in here, and because that passed, what I'd like to do is, not immediately, but give us a budget for stickers and other possible signage, so those,
Any kind of merchandise would be fun too.
yeah, so basically those grant recipients, we can, need it for signs, one, we can get it in the PDF, we already have that.
Yeah,
Or-
she said she'd send us in whatever format we needed.
Yeah, so we'll have all the formats, but even if we just need to give them a quick sticker, bumper sticker, something like that,
Yeah.
to have a small budget. So if I could get a motion, to approve a budget of $500? Well, and it can't be that much, I'd say up,
That's plenty to do.
that's plenty for stick,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So, a motion to approve, a budget of up to $500 for, stickers and other point of purchase, using the new Alpine Travel and Tourism logo.
Can I get a motion to approve $500 for stickers and up to $500 for promotional materials, including stickers for Alpine Travel and Tourism?
Second.
I have a first and a second. Any discussion? Whatever, yeah, up to $500,
Do I
I
get
think
some
is good.
stickers?
Yeah. Yeah.
Get
Great.
you a badge.
Yeah, do I get a logo? On a vest of
Sticker,
sorts.
yeah. Okay, I got a first and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All right. And for those watching, and I'd just like to wrap it up with, if anybody has any ideas for next year, if you tally up the math, I don't know what the exact number is, but we're holding over a good amount of funds for next year because there's possible big projects coming in. But if you have or know of a big project that you would think would help the town of Alpine, our community, and fill the beds of our local lodges and RV parks, by all means, come to us, put in an application, because we're open ears, and next year, we're kind of wanting to do a big year because it does go back to the voters, and hopefully you find value in what we do.
I like the app. Every time I
Yeah.
go anywhere, I download an app.
Yeah, same. And then if you leave, you just delete it. It's not a big
Yeah.
deal.
Next meeting date, we're looking at October. We're done with this season. And we may have one of our members on vacation, so we're not going to pick a specific date unless you want to pick a specific date.
If we can hold back on picking the date, that would be
Yeah,
best.
right now, our meeting is in October, but we may change that
Mess with my
around.
Halloween.
October 31st, what?
What?
You don't want to come here?
And let
I mean,
somebody
we-
wants-
Correct, yeah, because we did open that up and the town did adopt our new bylaws, so, yeah.
Okay.
Yep,
I can tentatively say the 16th or something, but
okay, if we want to do that, what day is that?
Thursday, the 16th
Thursday, the 16th?
of October.
Let me see here. Nope, I'm busy that day.
Stop it, are
We
you
can
really?
do-
No. October 16th. So, there we go. October 16th for travel and tourism. And that meeting, if it happens, will basically be an update for all the events over the summer. Starting at 6, same bat time, same bat channel.
Excellent.
With that, anybody else have anything?
No?
No, I'm
Can
good.
make a motion to adjourn?
Second it.
First and second, all in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Aye. Bye, everybody.
Thank you very much.